day, viewers. My name is Hafsa Salihu Mafara. Here is the news from the News and Current Affairs Al Ummah television station. First, the headlines. Zamfara State Government to distribute foodstuff to 200,000 households and free transport to the pupils in the state. Election Tribunal reserves Zamfara State Governorship judgment. Former Zamfara State Matawalli assumed duty as State Minister of Defense. Zamfara State Government back Federal Government action Niger. African Union suspend Niger over military coup. Now the news in details. Zamfara State Government say it will distribute foodstuff as palliative to 200,000 vulnerable families and free school bus to the primary people as part of the measure to caution the effect of subsidy removal. This was contained as a statement signed by the Press Secretary to the Governor, Dr. Sani Ahmed Sambu, and made available to newsmen in Gusau in the state capital. According to the statement, the Secretary to the State Government, Abubakar Muhammad Nakwada, explained that as part of resolution reached by the Executive Council, 200,000 vulnerable families in the state will benefit with foodstuff, while arranging are on their way to provide another set of palliative to some categories of civil defense in the state. Nakwada further said that the Executive Council has also approved the immediate provision of 50 buses and another 1052 Marco Polo buses in order to reduce transportation challenges for students at a subsidized rate, while primary school people are to enjoy free transportation under the new palliative arrangement. Election Tribunal sitting in Sokoto has reserved judgmental on the petition filed by the former governor of Zamfara State, Alhaji Bello Muhammad Matawalli Maradu, challenging the authenticity of the governorship election result that brought Dauda Lawal as governor of the state. The three-man panel of judges led by Justice Cordelia Ogadi reserved the judgment to a later date to be communicated to the parties involved after the respondents and counsel to the petitioner, Bello Matawalli Maradun, adopted their written address to close their argument. The first and second respondents, Dauda Lawal, the People Democratic Party, PDP, and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, have all made their state testimonies before the tribunal. Lawal prayed the tribunal to dismiss the petition filed by the former governor Bello Matawalli, challenging March 18 Zamfara governorship election for lack of merit. All the respondents cited a case of Oyetola versus Ademola, saying that the petitioner failed to prove his case and urged the tribunal to strike out the petition forthwith. This lead counsel to the petitioner, Barrister Usman Suli, said in his submission that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has excluded the result sheet of 98,564 votes in the Maradun local government area, and the election was not concluded in some council area of the state, but a winner was declared. The newly inaugurated Minister of Defense, Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, and the Minister of State Defense, Dr. Bello Matawalli, has assumed office. This was secured to their inauguration alongside other ministers on Monday by President Bola Tinubu, the GCFR, at the State House. In his welcome address, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Kanas, said the ministry is lucky to have two high-caliber former governors as defense minister, while pleading unwavering support of the management and staff of the military to the ministers throughout their tenure. In his brief remark, the Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa assumed the ministers of the loyalty of the military in navigating their area of responsibility in bringing lasting peace and tranquility to the nation. In their separate remarks, the ministers appreciate the trust and confidence reposed in them by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for saddling them with the responsibility of changing the narrative in the defense. They roll out plans toward finding lasting solutions to the nation's security challenges, while seeking the military support as well as Nigerians in the discharge of their duties. You are watching the news from Al Ummah television station. Before we go, let us remind you of our headlines. Zamfara State Government to distribute foodstuff to 200,000 households and free transportation to people in the state. Election Tribunal reserves Zamfara State governorship judgment. Former Zamfara State Motawalli assumed duty as State Minister of Defense. In part 2, when we return. Zamfara State Government back federal government action Niger. African Union suspend Niger over military coup. We will be right back.
Al'umma TV nagari na kowa.
Welcome back. You are watching the news from the News and Current Affairs Al Ummah television here in Gusau. Now the rest of the news. Zamfara State Government on Monday said it supported action taken by the federal government to ensure the reinstatement of Mohamed Bazoum as the President of Niger Republic. The Senior Special Assistant to Governor Dauda Lawal on Broadcast Media and Press Affairs Mustafa Kaura stated this in an interview with newsmen in Gusau, the state capital. Mustafa said that the state government will not demand the reopening of the border with the Niger Republic, since it was an exclusive duty of the federal government, even when communities bordering with Niger in Sokoto State limited the closure of the border. Kaura further explained that federal government has found it necessary to close the border as a result of military coup in Niger Republic following the agreement with the ECOWAS. He said the state government was really aware of the hardship encountered by the people of both Nigeria and Niger Republic, especially those living in border communities, adding that there was nothing the state government could do. He further said that Zamfara state government is never in support of the military government in the Niger Republic, and it was abide by whatever decisions taken if it will succeed in returning the ousted President Mohamed Bazoum in his position. Yes, African Union say it has suspended Niger from all of its institutions and activities following last month's coup until the effective restoration of constitutional order. In a communique issued on Tuesday, it noted that its decision to suspend Niger followed the failure of military junta to hand over power to the democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum. The AU decides in line with the relevant African Union instrument, in particular, the AU Constitutive Act, the protocol relating to the establishment of the Peace and Security Council of the African Union and the African Charter on Democracy, Elections and Governance, to immediately suspend the participation of the Republic of Niger from all activities of the AU and its organs and institutions until the effective restoration of constitutional order in the country. The AU, in his regard, called upon all member states of the AU and the international communities, including bilateral and multilateral partners, at large to reject this unconstitutional change of government and to refrain from any action likely to grant at large to reject the unconstitutional change of government and to refrain from any action likely to grant the legitimacy to the illegal regime in Niger. The AU commends the effort of ECOWAS under the leadership of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and calls on the AU member states to fully implement the sanction imposed by ECOWAS and endorsed by the PSC and request the commissions. in consultation with ECOWAS, to regularly inform the Council on the progress being made on the implementation of the imposed sanctions. That's the news from Al Ummah Television. Before we go, let us remind you of our major headlines. Zamfara State Government to distribute foodstuff to 200,000 households and free transportation to the people in the state. You heard that election tribunals reserve Zamfara State governorship judgment. You also heard that former Zamfara State Matawalli assumed duty as State Minister of Defense. And we also told you that African Union suspend Niger over military coup. Be a patriotic citizen. Report any suspicious movement around you. On the behalf of production crew and the news editor, Muhammad Tukur Aura, I am Hafsa Salihu Mafara saying bye for now.